Looking for immediate satisfaction.
And that takes too long.
Immediate satisfaction. Oh, I'm supposed to be there. Okay, I want to be that. Boom.
What if you want to sleep? You should sleep. Or you should get up. Slept enough. You still feel like you're lacking in sleep, and you might be tired later.
You're not lacking sleep. You're lacking enthusiasm for getting up.
Okay. That's where the intellect comes in. So you can determine if you really need it, or if you just...
Right. Ready? All right, so we will start third line from the bottom, trying to get through this very, very subtle principle. There is, as the Rebbe points out, there is an higher and lower element that is not identifiable by hierarchy. It is something which relates to the very quality of the koyach itself. So he says, okay, I'm saying that in the koyches are nefesh, even those koyches that are above functionality, the koyches are nefesh, that the koyches are ne'elomin, that are in the etzem nefesh itself, there too there is a distinction between the various koyches, a distinction in the sense of one being higher than the other, although there is no functional interrelationship between them, because they're all directly reflecting the nefesh. It's okay. So now we're saying inside the third line, the middle. Shaharei hamoichin v'hamidas emuhumsim yivdolim be'etzem, because the moichin and midas are mehusim yivdolim, are essences that are yivdolim be'etzem, that are separate in essence. This we discussed last night, and just want to translate in a clear manner. It means that their distinction is not only when in a functional level, that you do this and then you do this, and this is called meichin and this is called midas. Like you make a decision and then you act. So the decision is the meichin and the action is the midas by virtue of their sequence of their activities. That is not what distinguishes them, but in essence. They nivdolim be'etzem. They are separate in essence. They're two distinct koyches. And therefore, we can speak about the essential koyach itself in isolation, not in relation to another koyach. Or mehus moichin, and the mehus of moichin, harei hu mehus naila, mehus midas. The mehus moichin, the very quality of moichin, is a mehus naila, is a superior mehus than the mehus of midas. how do we bring this into some kind of a graspable, of identifiable element? Mahus Meichin is higher than, is a superior Mahus than Mahus Midas. So we explained many times over in this couple of lines that the principle of Meichin is to reveal and to identify what the absolute truth is. Moichin are not circumstantial at all. The meaning of Moichin is to identify what is, how is it the truth from the perspective of the truth, not from the perspective of the circumstance, but from the truth element. I'm going to use the story the Rashi that I mentioned yesterday to demonstrate it. But Hashem said to Moshe, you should come up and you'll give it, and you'll have the luchis, and I'll give it to you, and then you'll come down and you will make an order, and you'll make a box. Now, if the box is made after the luchas are here already, that means that the box is not made just to accommodate the luchas because I have no place to put them. Because if that were the case, then the box should have been made earlier. Then therefore, what is the reason for making the box? Some kind of an essential element. The luchas have to be in a box. Not because there's a functional necessity. This is a Moichin concept. That's what means Moichin. Midos take that very same truth. We're talking about true midos. But then they translate it on an existential level, on a practical level, on a personal level. Like we say, where am I going to put them? The luchis cannot be without a box. So when I say in midos, there is already the metzius of the world that's taken into account. Or at a higher level, the metzius, the presence, is taken into account. Not the conceptual truth, but the presence of it. Therefore, moichin are a mahus, naila mahus midas. And if we take this again, one more level of illustration, if we compare moichin, which are compared to sight, and midas, which are compared to hearing, there we can also readily see that moichin relate to sight. And sight, we pointed out many times, sight you see not because something is imposing itself upon you, something is forcing itself upon you. Not because of your mitzias, but because this is the truth of what there is to see. Independent of your mitzias. Not only it's independent of your mitzias, but it is even beyond the mitzias of what you see. You're seeing it not because it's a mitzias, but because it's a truth. This is moichin. Midos is like hearing. Hearing is you hear the presence of something. It makes itself known. And without making itself known, then midos, then it would not, you would not hear it. So that midos are by definition a lower koyach, a koyach that relates to a tangible mitzias, in contrast to moichin that relates to the concept of mitzias. Moichin are much superior, much more sensitive than Midas to truth. So that's as we have identified the meaning from Moichin and Midas. In Koiches HaGluyim, Harei K'moi Kein. So therefore, K'moi Kein likewise, Hu Gam Ba'Koiches Ne'elom. It is, this principle translates also in the Koiches Ne'elom, in the concealed and in the superior Koiches, the way they are in the Nefesh. She'amoichin be'atzem mahusom, na'alim heimo mehamidos. That the Moichin, in the very essence, from the perspective of their essence, what they are superior to the Midas. What is noise about? Superior to Midas. Did somebody check, everybody check if they're muted, there's some noise on the line. Nalim behema mehamidas. And that is true even at the essential level when the Moichin and Midas are above functionality, the way they are in the Nefesh. Rak except She'er HaNefesh, so we're going to Lamed Aleph, She'er HaNefesh meye behamidos k'mei behameichin. Except that when we talk about Koiches Ne'elomim, the Oir HaNefesh, and we will explain these few words. The light of the Nefesh, Meir behamidos, shines in the Midos, k'moi behamoichin, even as it, in the same way as it shines in the Meir. One more line. But yet still, even though that the Oir HaNefesh shines in the Moichin, in the Midas, it shines in the Moichin, still, mitzad etzem mahus ha-Moichin helamayim, they're still higher because of the quality of the Moichin itself. Etzem mahus ha-Moichin. Now, what is the principle of Oir HaNefesh? Meir behamidas k'mei behamoichin. We speak about Oir all the time, and from time to time we identify it. In this context, the principle of Oir HaNefesh refers to the point that the Moichin see what they see, and the Midas recognize and react to what they react, not because of some kind of a circumstance, not because of some kind of a need or accomplishment or purpose, but because this is part and parcel of the Nefesh. There's a truth, the Nefesh truth that goes through that. That's with Oir HaNefesh. In all our discussions, we have many Misholim that allude to this principle. Hello, please mute your phone. Everybody please check if all your phones are muted. There is a noise on the line. And the one that comes to mind, which is really quite directly related to this principle, is this which we always quote from the Gemara, that Odom shein lo bayis ein lo Odom. That a house, a home, that directly reflects the human being. And if it doesn't have a home, ein lo Odom, he's lacking the very definition of a home. And then we're saying, in this house, There's pieces of furniture. There are furniture pieces. There's tables and there's chairs and there's beds and so forth. And we similarly say that a person, when he eats, for example, he has to sit on a chair near a table and eat like a mensch. That's the expression. Eat like a mensch. In other words, eating in a certain way also identifies him as a mensch. So therefore, from that perspective, how he eats and the fact that he has a home seems to be relating to his being a mensch directly. You eat like a mensch and you live like a mensch. Yet still, the Gemara does not say that a person who eats not by a chair and a table is not a mensch. So this is the way to eat.
Says the dog.
Bashuk. Bashuk is like a dermal child. But if you eat in the home, standing up, walking around in the house, it's not dermal child. It's not like a mensch. Not derech eretz. So therefore, both of these qualities, and if we, okay, let me finish my sentence. Both of these qualities of being in a home, having a place, and also acting according to human principles, both directly relate to his being a human being. To put it directly to what we are discussing, if you are eating in your home, walking around, you're saying, hey, this is not the way a mensch eats. The reason that you're supposed to sit by a table is not because you are in a home and therefore you're supposed to eat in the table. No, it goes directly to his being a human being. Not one brings about the other. So in other words, this also has, so to speak, this kind of direct relationship to human quality. But in a different category. The Indian of the home, this is a subtle thing. As a matter of fact, practically speaking, it doesn't, unless the weather is bad, why should I be bothered? What's the difference? I can sit in a park and eat on the table. Practically speaking, I'm comfortable there. Just as comfortable as at the table in the house. As we always say, that from a practical perspective, to sleep in a hotel and eat in a restaurant, practically speaking, is just as comfortable. So this Indian that this is something which is a human imperative, is something at a higher level, much more sensitive than the practical. The way one behaves is at a much lower level, but also represents the essential reality of the human reality. In other words, they're both drawn from the same principle, but at two very distinct levels. One is something that you actually sense when you eat, and you're standing up. Something is not right in your behavior. When you sleep in a restaurant, when you sleep in a hotel, in behavior-wise, nothing is wrong. It's a much more sensitive element. Some kind of a reality that pertains to the moichin, to an intellect directly. There's nothing practical about it. So there we see how moichin by tzad mehusam. The guy reminds me it's time to okay. One more call. So that's a mahusam. The moichin are of a superior and more sensitive quality. Moichin sense a subtle reality, even though there is no practical effect of it.
When you say that the Or HaNefesh Meir B'Midas K'may B'Moichin, that they both...
Okay, so now, this human concept, that's Oil HaNefesh. That's an oil. Where is the human concept come from? It comes from the reality, from the atzmius of what a human being is. It's not coming from the comfort of it. It comes from the status of what a human being represents in the world. Human being in the world, as we mentioned many times, represents not just another physical creature. Human being represents the ultimate purpose of the world, the reality of the world, the godly presence in the world. This is why there is that principle of dignity and integrity, because you are in a dignified place. That's why there is that sensitivity. Yes, something is bothering
No,
you.
I'm trying to so the Or is equal, but the Etzem is not equal.
That's right.
And I'm trying to understand this.
Oh, no, the Oil HaNefesh is the same in both.
Yeah.
But each one of them takes it in their own way. The Midas take it more coarsely than the Moichin. The Moichin take the more sensitive, the finer element of that oil than the Midas take.
And this is being brought to show that even in Kochos Ne'elamim there is higher and lower.
That's right. Even though the Kochos Ne'elamim are not related to functionality, they cannot be identified by functionality. They have an essential. Each one has an essential presence, directly drawn from the nefesh itself. Yet still, by virtue of their sensitivity themselves, there is a hierarchy, a higher and lower. Not a hierarchy in sequence, but a hierarchy in madrega. In other words, like I said before, if you stand up and eat in the house, it's not appropriate. Why is it not appropriate? Because you have a house, and in a house you're supposed to sit. If you eat in the street, standing up, it's the same thing. There's no home over there. So you have two things. You have the fact that you're in the street and the fact that you're standing up. Ha'echel bashuk does not pertain only if he eats in a market standing up. If he's sitting down in the shuk. If it's an open place, it's not a secluded place, not a sneezing place, it's Eichel b'shuk. If it's not a sneezing away, it's something else.
What about eating? Can you eat in a shul? Eating in a shul, okay?
There's halakhic principles about eating in a shul. So this, in other words, both of these, the midas and the moichin, both come directly from the nefesh, but in different levels, different level of sensitivity. Now we can continue in the next line. Vim heyoy sheim bahem seder v'hadrogo b'ham shachosum v'yizgalusom. That despite the fact that in this koiches ne'alom, in this essential koiches, there is no order or leveling distinctions in their coming forth from the nefesh. How they come from the nefesh? They come from the nefesh spontaneously, equally. One is not the cause from the other, like we demonstrate in this union that the home, the fact that you're in the home, that's not the reason why you're supposed to be sitting or being neat and so forth. The kol mokoin, but yet still behelem, in a more subtle and a concealed manner, in the essential level, yesh bozeh gamkein eza seder. There too there is eza seder, some kind of a seder. Not a seder of cause and effect, but an inherent seder. Inherent order. Shaharei onoreim b'chush. Because we actually can see this b'chush, we can actually experience this. B'hizgalus ha-koiches ne'alomim, that when the koiches ne'alomim, when the inherent koiches are expressed, she'enoi doima, they can notice that it's not comparable. Im ha-hizgalus hime ha-midas levad, whether the hizgalus, the expression of these essential koiches, is mehamidas levad, is only from the midas, or shehamichin hingamkin b'hizgalus, or that the moichin also are b'hizgalus.
Isn't that not supposed to be possible?
Pardon me?
Isn't that because earlier we said that shikulam is galim b'shav. I thought that was impossible. I thought that koiches and alomim it was all. I thought that the koiches and alomim are misgalim b'shaveh.
But they're misgala b'shaveh. But they're misgala from in an equal manner. The midas come from the nefesh and the chmeichin come from the nefesh. But when his galus, even though both of them are representing the nefesh, yet still there's a difference whether the his galus at this moment is exclusively from the midas, or there is also the moichin are also be his galus. The oz hamidas in beifanacher. If the moichin are also be his galus, then the midas are also beifanacher. The midas themselves are also affected. All right. The next is already a longer thing. In our muscle, which I think is a useful muscle. Okay, this is it. Just want to finish this. In our muscle, if there is the sense that Odom Shein Beis and Odom, in other words, he senses the moichin element. This is what makes a human being. And this is how a human being is supposed to behave. There are two different levels. So if there is both levels recognized, that moichin is what makes a human being, and that the way you behave is appropriate for a human being. The moichin in the midas are. If there is only the midas, I don't feel comfortable eating standing up. It's not comparable, that sensitivity, that sense, not comparable to to recognizing that, but that the intelligence is what makes a human being. Od machine Beis any other. In other words, if the Menachem is also Bias Galus, then the midos, then the necessity to property is much greater. And this in our mashal fits right in. That in fact, if a person eats in the street, it's inappropriate, but he doesn't feel the same level of discomfort as when he eats in a nice in a respectable environment, in a home, and everybody is sitting and he is walking around eating and eating. It's completely out of place. There he senses the Menachem element more. Now this is mamish, not like a human being.
Oh, if he would do the same thing in the street, he wouldn't sense it as well?
And it seems also mitzad the human element, but it would not be as pronounced mitzad the essential element of this. Like I say, Einay Odom. The Einay Odom element you won't feel. But in the home, that affects the Einay Odom affects the activity also. If you encounter dirt in the street, it's not comfortable. It's very unpleasant. But the dirt is in your home, then it is very insulting. Because of a different. Okay, this is it for this morning. We'll reconvene in Mitchum on Sunday. Have a good day.